Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Joe Citizen Show. This is Roger Homefield, and I am Joe Citizen, but we're all Joe Citizen, and it's going to take every Joe Citizen to come to the aid of his and her country. You know, on the very day of the debate, Leon Panetta, he said something quite striking. He said that terrorists are being energized by Hamas. Now, what he said has been overshadowed, of course, by the debate debacle, but terrorists worldwide becoming energized is no small matter. So worldwide terrorists are being energized and inspired by Hamas. Well, who do you think energized Hamas? Oh, we did. That's right. Biden sent Judas Chuck Schumer to trash all protocol and manners, freaking out Israel, demanding them to have special elections to overthrow Netanyahu. Then we gave Israel a list of what not to do's, grinding the war into a quagmire. Ever since that day, everything has gone to hell in a handbasket in the Mideast. Biden and his administration have pulled a Hamas defeat out of the Israeli jaws of victory. Biden saved Hamas and prolonged the war. And as a result, Biden has energized all of the terrorists in the world. The great United States of America pulling its support from Israel and giving Hamas a chance to live another day. So much for Hamas surrendering. Why would they? Now, on the other hand, if Uncle Sam had given ironclad support that we had promised and demanded that Hamas surrender, well, then we might actually get Hamas to surrender. Instead, Biden keeps insulting Israel, questioning their very humanity, while the Israeli military is the most benevolent and humanitarian military in all of history. Who else drops leaflets and tells the enemy exactly where you're going to attack so civilians can leave? They beg the civilians to leave. Israel better hope that she can hold out until Trump gets back into power. All of that support and momentum that was taken away from Israel was given to Hamas, energizing terrorists worldwide. So let's see. So what has happened since Schumer's spectacle, followed up by Biden's withholding of weapons, intelligence, and the pummeling of Israel psychologically and emotionally? Well, in our last show, we mentioned how Hamas mob rioted in front of the White House, vandalized American heroes' statues, disrupted the congressional baseball game, threatened people on a New York City subway car, and a suspected jihadist with an arsenal of weapons was found just blocks from LaGuardia Airport. Well, just days ago, since then, a prominent synagogue in Los Angeles was surrounded by a mob of keffiyeh-clad, face-covered Hamas thugs who beat up defenseless, unsuspecting Jews and maced them with bear spray. Now, if there were Israeli Jews inside that synagogue, they would have likely kicked the crap out of that mob. But American Jews just don't know how to street fight. They were never taught. They never thought they would ever need to. They thought they would always be safe in America. They were, until Obama decided we were, quote, no longer a Christian country. Of course, no one, including the Jews, had the balls to ask him exactly what he meant by that and why he even said it. So for 1 hour, police stood by, not breaking up fights. In America, that doesn't happen. This is exactly what I was talking about when I warned that the Jews may not get protection in blue states. Sadly, I was correct. Not breaking up fights. Now, these are not two street gangs duking it out in a courtyard prison and the police just standing there letting it play out. This is about a bunch of angry, hysterical Muslims beating up on unsuspecting Jews just trying to go to synagogue. But what if this was a black church being surrounded by the KKK? All in white hoods, running around, screaming threats that you can only imagine? Or a mosque What if it was a mosque surrounded by Jews and Christians screaming at them that the crusade is back and they should pack their Sharia and get out? Would the police still have been ordered to stand down, have some popcorn, and enjoy the show? So no one from this violent pro-Hamas Muslim hate mob was arrested. Meanwhile, in Russia, in South Russia, 20 people, mostly police, were killed during an attack on churches and a synagogue. Remember, Christians are infidels too. And this despicable Muslim on Jewish attack in Brooklyn at a 5th grade graduation ceremony, an Arabic-speaking pro-Palestinians beat up Jewish parents in front of their 10-year-old twins, screaming, "Free Palestine and death to Israel." Muslims, after hearing Biden and his administration scold Israel over and over and over again, in their minds, have now seized the moral ground. And so they have become more enraged and emboldened to feel like it's open season on Jews because it's become the trend and nothing ever happens to them. The police were even reluctant to report it as a crime and were even more reluctant to report it as a hate crime. Now, this next one is a perfect example of what we call cultural jihad. Jihad is to spread Sharia law either by the sword or the pen. This next one is a perfect example of cultural jihad. This is jihad by the pen. In New Jersey, a school district apologized to a Muslim group for including ISIS on a quiz, naming it as a terror group, which of course it is. Oh, but there was a complaint made by an activist group called Teaching While Muslim. Okay, here was the question. Quote, "It's a terrorist organization that commits acts of violence, destroys cultural artifacts, and encourages loss of life in order to achieve its goal of global rule under strict Islamic Sharia law." And the answer was Islamic State or ISIS. It's actually an excellent question. It actually encourages me to believe that there actually are educators out there that are trying to educate our kids about our enemies. But the spineless Wayne, New Jersey Public School Superintendent's Office sent out a statement saying, quote, "The question was offensive and contrary to our values of respect, inclusivity, and cultural sensitivity." The superintendent and whoever agreed with making that statement should resign immediately. The question was offensive? Really? Offensive to who? ISIS? It shouldn't be offensive to any Muslims in America unless they consider themselves aligned with ISIS. Why are these Muslim teachers defending ISIS? Is this their ideology too? And you say contrary to your values, Mr. Superintendent? How about values being truth and history and education? And respect and cultural sensitivity, you say? Well, how respectful and culturally sensitive was it when ISIS had dozens of men on their knees, clad in orange dress, waiting to have their heads cut off by swords because they were Christian? How culturally sensitive was that? We know the education system is rotten at the college level, and now we need to know it's rotten at the grade school level too. Hey, public education department, newsflash. if you don't have the balls to teach simple historical truth because you're concerned it will anger those who share ethnicity and religion with the enemies, then get the hell out of teaching and don't put this country at risk by sugarcoating reality. Now, what you probably don't know, folks, is that this school district has committed an act of dimitude. Dimitude, or being a dhimmi, is when you submit to a demand by Islam's Sharia law. And wittingly or not, that's exactly what they have done. They submitted. Sorry, Wayne, New Jersey Township, but far worse than being a bunch of dummies, unfortunately, you're a bunch of dhimmis. And that's far worse. And the problem we have with that is that now this Muslim activist teachers group will do more and more and more of this. The cultural jihadists, like this Muslim teacher group, are seizing upon this so that no teachers anywhere will be able to teach our kids about the attacks this country and our Western civilization has sustained from Islamists, which is exactly what they want. Shut us up. And it's already happened there. What an easy win this was for cultural jihad, because the superintendent, check this out, he said they're investigating the software company that had the question. So in other words, the problem was the question. Oh, okay. So I guess any questions regarding the truth about Islam and terrorism will be taken out, right? So the superintendent's office, well, they won't have this problem again, right? No, but we will. Yep, just take out those questions. Just take out the questions. Just like Obama had the words Islamic terror taken out of all law enforcement manuals, including counterterrorism. Do we see a pattern here? Since the American betrayal of Israel, we continue to have violent and destructive mob rallies all over the damn place, from college campuses to the White House, and nothing ever happens to them. And now the Jewish kids are afraid. They're afraid to go to class. They're afraid to go anywhere, for that matter. See what kind of America we have now, just so that we can appease, celebrate, and kiss the ass of our enemies. It's really quite unbelievable. First, we had Obama single-handedly resurrect the Muslim Brotherhood, and now we have Biden, who is single-handedly saving Hamas and handing them a victory. He himself would be a victory if there was a ceasefire, his ceasefire. Look, folks, it's not even about Israel and Hamas. It's much bigger than that. If we embolden the Muslim world, we could embolden Muslims enough to spark jihad, and we could have another kind of world war, a clash of civilizations. Again, Leon Panetta just said that terrorists worldwide were energized by Hamas, and we are seeing just that. And what's so nuts about this is that this is just one threat. We're not even mentioning the globalist one world agenda, China, Russia, Iran's nuke, or economic and cyber attacks, which leads to the critical concern that we cannot fend off any one of these threats, nonetheless, all of them, if we remain in the dysfunctional state of civil war we are in now. Together, as a united country, we can do everything. But sadly, it appears that brazen hatred, in your face, smug, condescending attacks from the left continue even after this feeble debate. The main problem is like right out of a science fiction movie. The Democrats and left wing are suffering in reality from a severe case of TDS, or Trump derangement syndrome, which appears to be every bit as real as PTSD, ADD, or any other disease you want to add initials to. It's a testament to the effectiveness of a 24/7 bombardment of propaganda, from network news to The View. And they just assume it must be true because that's all they ever hear in that echo chamber. So TDS is a real and serious epidemic worldwide. And it is a true dilemma that could keep America dysfunctional and unable and perhaps even unwilling to defend herself. Now, hopefully something as dramatic as a clean sweep of all 50 states might shock them back to reality. Here are some giveaway symptoms in case some TDS inflicted woke people, if they should approach you and perhaps want to engage you. It will start with a dumb-looking, glazed, half-assed smile because they anticipate nailing you with their gotcha questions. So they'll start with one of two questions. This is their great litmus test to see if you're a worthy person or not. Number one, so do you think Trump is a nice person? What the hell does that have to do with anything? But if you say yes, they'll look down their nose at you and call you stupid. Here's what the answer should be. Do you think Putin is a nice person? Do you think Kim Jong-un is a nice person? Do you think President Xi and the Ayatollah are nice people? Do you think the Taliban and the Hamas are nice? No. Then why the hell would you want to send a nice person in there to deal with all of them? Besides, who are they to judge other people's opinions, and what do they really know about Trump other than what the media wants them to know? The next question in their woke gotcha quiz is, do you think Trump lost the 2020 election? Now they're beaming. They're beaming now because if you say no, they'll send you to the Flat Earth Society in a straitjacket. Your answer should be, do you think Hillary lost the 2016 election? But moving on from that, according to the votes certified, yes, Trump lost the election. However, the evidence of coordinated, premeditated fraud is growing and will become overwhelming. Most people are not aware of this fact, but Biden's margin of victory was less than 43,000 votes total from 3 states. That's right. Biden won less than 43,000 total votes from Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia. Without them, he does not win the 2020 election. And gee whiz, what a coincidence that these swing states were identified as the ones that allegedly had the most fraud. Beyond that, the election was stolen in many different ways on many different days, not just election day. Pelosi pulled off the greatest mail-in ballot scheme in history. The Democrats had zero voter enthusiasm, zero. And elections were always all about voter enthusiasm. Now, the Democrats knew their voters would not bother going to the polls. So, via the mail-in ballots, the Democrats took the polls to them. It would have been a landslide for Trump without the Democrats' vote-at-home scheme. Now, look, we're not even getting into rehashing the 2 bogus impeachments, the Mueller report, the Hillary Russian spy frame-up job, and the nonstop sabotage, smears, and lies made against Trump during his term, all of which was election interference. Skipping past all of that, the radical Dems took their communist ways all the way up to election's door. One day before the election, all TV network news, all mainstream media, newspapers, and social media colluded to censor and pull off a complete 100% blackout of the New York Post article, which exposed the Biden family's influence peddling business on the laptop from hell. Talk about election interference. It's been widely accepted statistically that 17% of the Democrat voters would not have voted for Biden if they had received this news. So what kind of a country do we want to leave behind for our children and grandchildren? Do we want them to be free individuals with dreams, or just sheep following the dictates of the elite New World Order, or worse, Sharia law? No longer would one man, one vote mean anything. And if you're not born into power, forget about rising up from being a nobody and becoming president of the United States. Today, we only emphasize the Islamist threat, but we have so many different threats facing us like never before and all at once. Many say it's already too late. They're writing off Europe and they think it's too late for America too. I refuse to believe that. I don't think it's too late, and it's not too late if we could just think back to who we were when we had that feeling of complete unity after 9/11. And after 9/11, the loudest roar I ever heard at Yankee Stadium was when George Bush walked to the mound and threw out the first pitch before the World Series. And it was a perfect strike. Every car had an American flag in their window. We just need to remember who we were before the radical left came into power and split us all apart. The American dream is irreplaceable, and if we allow it to become extinguished, there will be dreams no more for this world. No parent wants to live to see their child die, and no patriot wants to live to see America die. We can never, never, ever allow that to happen. This is the Joe Citizen Show. I'm Roger Homefield. Thank you for being with us.
Bye-bye, so long, farewell. Bye-bye, so long. See you in November at the polls where we are gonna have our say. Better see you in November. It's our chance to throw these fools away. Counting the days till we're rid of you. Counting the hours and the minutes too. Bye-bye, so long, farewell. Bye-bye, so long. Bye-bye, so long, farewell.